Thoughts?
Well, thank you very much. And it's a pleasure to be here and have the opportunity to address you all, but especially so today. I know that for many of you, October the 20th is going to be a particularly important day as it marks the first day of Asexual Awareness Week. Asexual reproduction is the primary form of reproduction in single-cell bacteria. And is common in many eukaryotic plants and fungi, yet in 2024, it remains taboo in humans. If you're asexual, let me say that I see you, and I value you. Today is also the third Sunday of Black History Month, Menopause Awareness Month, and ADHD Awareness Month. If you didn't know that it was ADHD Awareness Month, that only shows how difficult some people find it to keep paying attention. Now, with so many competing issues, it's very difficult for EDI teams to keep up, and so inevitably they have to prioritise. And the priority many EDI teams have chosen to combat is one of the greatest scourges of society today, and that's the menace of misgendering. According to the best science available on the internet, the effects of misgendering are devastating. According to no less a source than WebMD, if others fail to refer to you by your identity, over time this can create inner confusion and chaos between your assigned sex at birth and your gender identity. This in turn leads to a dramatically increased risk of suicide and severe depression. Given the risks, is it any wonder that EDI teams recommend we declare our pronouns? But hold on a moment. Is it truly plausible that misgendering is as harmful as claimed? Are people called Leslie at higher risk of suicide? Or do they somehow cope? And if your name is Susan, whether or not you're trans, might it not be reasonable to assume your pronouns are she, her? In fact, declaring your pronouns is not about misgendering at all. It's a way of showing your acceptance of gender identity theory. Importantly, there's no way of showing rejection. If you're asked to declare your pronouns, what you're really being asked is, do you support gender self-identification, or are you a Nazi? So, to put this in language an EDI practitioner might understand, asking someone you've never met their pronouns is a microaggression. Now, one of my hobbies is writing to the EDI team at my university to complain about the idiocies I've found in their training courses, and every email I get back is decorated with pronouns and a rainbow flag. Are they doing this to pull my chain? If they are, kudos to them, but sadly I just think it's old-fashioned stupidity. And this for me strikes at the heart of the problem with EDI. EDI is currently dominated by stupid people giving stupid advice. Or, let me rephrase that. EDI is currently dominated by people with unique learning styles who are trying their best. Which brings me to Dame Nicola Dandridge. Dandridge is a former chief executive of the Equalities Challenge Unit, Universities UK, and the Office for Students. And while she's been in charge, we've seen a total collapse of women's rights in UK universities, to the point where women are losing their jobs for being feminist. And this has been exemplified by the case of Joe Phoenix, who was constructively dismissed by the Open University after being subjected to a sustained campaign of harassment, including a letter signed by 368 colleagues denouncing her. And that letter was, of course, organised by an academic with an EDI role. Now, after receiving a drubbing in the Employment Tribunal, Open University commissioned a report. And who better to ask to do this report than Dame Nicola? And unsurprisingly, her proposed solution is more of the same. She believes that there should have been an equalities impact assessment to weigh up the pros and cons of women being allowed to engage in feminism. I see the logic. Without an equalities impact assessment, there is a real danger that feminists might accidentally hurt men's feelings. But that's certainly one way to solve our EDI problems. But I'd like to suggest another, simpler alternative, which is that we should simply stop listening to the idiots that got us in this mess.